What is up, people? This is Grandpa's Fridge, and I know this may seem like sort of a random thing to just come out of the blue and start doing, and people might be confused, like, what is this? Well, essentially, to put it like simply, it's just a podcast, but it's also like, in my opinion, like an easier platform for me to talk to versus filming in front of a video or camera for like 40 minutes, talking about things and then sort of running on into gibberish and then going in depth over things that are kind of not as important as in a video, I guess, as compared to just having my own platform to just talk about whatever I want, kind of. And that's what I saw a podcast more of, and why I really wanted to do this recently is I've been watching a lot of comedians do podcasts, and they have things like that, and they just talk for hours and hours to people, and they also do things on their own with like their little small groups and posses, and people just do their own podcasts. So I kind of got inspired in a sense, and I just see this as more of like an easier way to talk because if you saw my last video or the original one I came back from like a week ago, it was pretty much it was longer than I guess it needed to be, just like the original one where it was like twice the run length, and I just I don't know, I feel weird talking for too long in a video, so having this as a sort of thing where hopefully I can get this on Spotify too at some point, is, I guess, in my opinion, better than making someone watch a whole video where it's just kind of me rambling, because I also have to edit the video up to usually to cut out the rambling. The thing with a podcast is you don't have to kind of do that anymore. You can just sort of talk about stuff and it just goes on until however long you want. And honestly, I think it sort of flows better, and you could have it on in the background as compared to a video where you almost always have to have like the screen playing and audio turned on if you want to hear what the person's saying. But yeah, honestly, this is just something I've been kind of wanting to do. And like I said in that gibberish video I posted a few days ago, I think this is a good start or a good sign or something to keep me busy, kind of, and just talk about things that I want to talk about, like topics and stuff, and things that I like. People that I like follow, I guess have a following of. I like to look more into what they do and stuff, and sort of just run on, but also about things that I like, as compared to like forcing myself to talk about something that I don't like, which I don't do that in YouTube videos, I guess, to an extent. I try different things, and if they don't work, then I end up not doing them in the future. But I'm kind of rambling right now, so let me just get into the first kind of thing. I have like a bullet point. I have a whole list of these, and that's why I think the podcast thing could go on for a consistent amount of time for a little bit, at least getting a good start and get the ball rolling. But for this episode, I'm probably going to keep it down to simpler things, only because a good amount of these topics on my list right here, my bullet point list, are going to, they sort of combine into each other, and I could be talking on and on for one topic for like 30 minutes, just because there's so much stuff, in my opinion, that I think I could just elaborate on and also just give my opinion on. It's mostly things about like games and people that I follow on YouTube and I guess social media in general, but like I said, I'm not going to get too much into those today. This is just sort of a start. I wouldn't say a soft opening or anything. I would just say this is me wanting to keep it sort of at a good starting field. I guess that's the best way I could put it, instead of like jumping straight into something like that's really layered and detailed. So first thing I want to talk about is, since I'm filming this still while the pandemic is going on in the world and coronavirus is still trying to be dealt with worldwide, as it is a global pandemic, the first thing I guess I could say about it is, or talk about, is how I've been dealing with all of this, what I've kept myself busy with in quarantine for the past 3 months. Honestly, I'm just going to kind of give like a little timeline real quick. How it started off, March, the last 2 weeks of it, or maybe 2.5, super slow. In fact, it's only gotten faster since then. It started off super slow in March, and there was a couple more things I was still excited for in that month, like the Weeknd's album, which was really good. There was, I think, a movie that came out at the end of the March, and I was looking forward to. What was supposed to come out on April 5th, just like Thundercats album did, which I was actually excited that they pushed it a week beforehand, before Thundercats album, so I wasn't like trying to listen to all this music at once. Was Dua Lipa's album was at the last week of the month, March 27th. So like I said, all these things have been keeping me busy to like listen to and give my opinion on, and just kind of stay occupied with. That's what I was doing with most of those types of things, like music related and games and all that stuff. I was playing Rainbow Six Siege for a little bit in March, and I slowly stopped playing it as the month went by. But yeah, like I said, it was the whole idea that as weeks were, honestly, it was like a mountain. and it was really just getting up to the. I shouldn't say it's peaked yet because I know coronavirus just keeps coming throwing curveballs at us. And the whole world of 2020 has this entire year has been kind of like a curveball, and it just keeps coming at us without even really being aware of it. But like I said, yeah, 2020. I mean, March. It kept almost going upwards. Like bad things started to get more and more released, like information wise. Like more and more people were having it. The whole world was like increasing in cases, like really badly, because we were trying to all slowly get back into our houses and social distance and all that stuff. So at that point, I was like, oh, this is just gonna be the slowest time of our lives, it feels like. And honestly, for that, like those 2 weeks of March, it kind of felt like that. It just felt really slow. And even though I tried to find things to do, it was like like I said, like a lot of things were being pushed forward, like delayed kind of, and postponed, all that stuff. But a couple of things that came out in that time were having different reactions, as I guess compared to if everyone could like be together to react to them. Things like music and games and all that information that like comes out if they were planned for that time. But like I said, yeah, I managed. I built a Lego set, like a Ghostbusters one at the beginning or the end of March, just to, like one day, just to keep myself busy for like a few hours. Listened to the Weeknd's album; it was really good. Gambino surprise dropped an album that was really sick, and there's a couple songs in there that are hit or miss, but I really like it as a whole. It wasn't what I was expecting, but you really can't expect something with Gambino, because for all we know, everything he has made is in like an archive somewhere, and there's so much more music than what we have outside of what he actually has released. And with him, he kind of just puts out what he's feeling, especially with this latest project, which was like a whole collection, sort of like an ending to the whole Childish Gambino name, and maybe the new moniker, just going by Donald Glover, his actual name, and presenting more things besides music, like a whole more line of art and media. Like I said, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it, but yeah, that was really cool, and the surprise drop. The 21 Savage feature is really good on that song. I think it's 1238. Yeah, and I think Kaja Bonnet is on it. It's really sick. And then, like I said, the Weeknd's album, the week before, or I guess the weekend, funny enough, before the whole Corona thing really peaked in that week, like Friday the 13th, which I will always remember that was the day that like everything really started to heat up, and the world was like taking action, dealing with this whole coronavirus thing. Was that day when Uzi dropped the Deluxe to EA. The week before that, Eternal Atake dropped. And that weekend after, I was about to get to the Weeknd thing. A song he performed on SNL, Scared to Live. Oh, it's so good. And when I was first listening to it, like for that whole week, I was like, oh, this might be a similar situation to Circles, where when Post Malone's Circles was like teased and played before it came out officially, I liked those versions more, just because, I don't know, maybe it's what you're given before the actual final product is. You kind of just get more used to it, and it really settles with you good, with music especially. But yeah, and honestly, when the album came out, I did sort of like the SNL version more than Scared to Live, like on the actual album. They're both really good, but I like this almost like these little, not ad-libs, but him just like having like sort of in between the actual lyrics, just little bits he added in like for like an actual, like giving it all raw live performance, and it was really sick, especially with that song. And I still love that. I bet like that song's like been one of the most listened to ones for me in quarantine. I don't know, I just really like it, and it just has this like slow dance song, but also like driving a car like in the middle of the night, just like in that like mindset of like I like almost like feeling guilty. But like I said, oh, I gotta stop clearing my throat. But after that, the Monday after that, yeah, the Deluxe dropped. So that 23rd, that Monday, the Deluxe dropped of, well, the Deluxe in air quotes, with the remixes and the SNL version of "A Scared to Live" for the After Hours. Then the next Monday, 3 more songs. That's considered, like, I guess I would consider that the end to the little group for After Hours. Maybe he has more music planned in the next year, because he usually drops something in between, like every 2 years. So maybe it is 2 years away for the next Weeknd project, but I'm happy with it. I still think After Hours is a really good album. People were saying it's like his best behind Trilogy. But like I said, yeah, that kept me through the few like weeks of March, and then as I was getting nearer and nearer to my birthday, I was like, well, things are gonna be really weird this year for everyone. The last 3 months of birthdays and stuff, and it really has been, I guess, because you don't get to be with people, you don't get to be in school. For people who have birthdays on weekdays, they don't get to be in school with their friends for those. Even though some people hate that, I think being with people is easier to be in school for your birthday as compared to like planning a whole thing out to hang. And that's obviously dependent on how good you are at planning, like to hang out with people and how consistent they are with like keeping up with plans. But Uh, I don't know. This year's just been really weird, I guess in general. This year's gonna go down as like the year on pause, and then people are already trying to like skip to 2021, and we're only halfway through, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Halfway there, yet half 6 more months of this is gonna be insane, and it's apparently gonna be the coldest winter we've had in a long time. Like 100 years ago, the Spanish flu and the influenza happened, and we're just kind of reliving a similar situation, which is crazy. But I digress. Yeah, the next week after that, 27th, 4 days before my birthday, because it's the last day in March. Let's see. Yeah, Dua Lipa's album dropped. This single was supposed to be "Break My Heart" that Friday. Then the next week, April 5th, with the same day as Thundercats album, Future Nostalgia, but it came out a week early because I think it leaked online. I never heard that. I just waited till it to come out officially, and I was kind of surprised. Like the day before, it actually came out or Break My Heart came out that Wednesday, and then Friday was the album. And honestly, I really like that album. I've had a couple people who don't even like listen to that kind of music, like poppy, like really upbeat, almost nostalgic. That's why it's called Future Nostalgia, like take back or throwback music kind of sort of thing. With that, like how a lot of instrumentals and samples are on that are like from the 80s and 70s and 90s. It's really sick, and honestly, I love that album a lot, and that's probably like one of my favorite albums of the year, just because I love 80s and 90s and 70s music. It's all this got this really like most of it, all the pop music especially, has like this really upbeat funk groove to it, and I don't know, something with it says something really well. But then, yeah, it came out that Friday, and I love the song "Levitating" on it. Like that song is amazing, and it has this dance groove to it that makes you want to just go crazy. At least for me, anyways. But like I said, I showed a couple of my friends who I wouldn't think would even look into someone like this artist for this kind of music, and they actually really liked it themselves because it's just crazy good music. I don't know. It has this dance, this groove to it, like I said, and pop music is meant for you to like it, like really pushes it in your face. But that album was just great. And then that comes around the last week of March. We go to April. April went by faster overall, but it still wasn't as fast as May and June were these last like 5-6 weeks. So yeah, April comes around. First week we're already in with Thundercats album was really good. Well, probably I think I like Drunk more, but I love the Dragon Ball Durag. That song is just has that like a similar groove to Dua Lipa's album, and I don't know. I like those like the really like heavy bass guitar and like the synth wave and stuff and all that stuff. These like instrumentals that are layered and just sound so good at the same time, like make you want to dance and stuff. And then the week after that, I'm trying to remember. There was a couple like singles that dropped around that month. I don't remember that much happening in between the 2 weeks between that and like the April break for us, because we still had April vacation for my school and everyone else around here did, I think, for schools. It was weird, honestly, to be on April vacation, but it's stuck at home because it really was just a week of like, oh, you don't have anything we're forcing you to do, so you can just sit at home and do whatever, or keep yourself busy with other things like riding my bike. I did that a lot between March and April around the area. And then, like I said, as April break kicked in, there was the Fortnite Travis Scott event, which, as dumb as it may sound to talk about it, it was really cool. And I see a lot of people online talking about how like it like broke records for the game, and not only in like how successful it was in general, like what their goal with it was to like not only project his music out to like a more audience or get them excited for Fortnite to not only work with Travis Scott, but like put out new music with it. That was literally what happened in it, and that whole week was hyping it up for me at least, and a couple other people I know. And I met a person. A friend of mine, Russell, who I'll get in probably like later around May, because it's when we got really more closer to him. He is obsessed with like Fortnite Travis Scott. Like, both of those two things are like amazing to him, and he loves them. He's always talking about astronomical. He goes on Instagram Live and just dances the whole thing and sings all the lyrics. Dude's like a diehard Travis Scott and Fortnite fan. It's crazy. But yeah, that whole week projected up to the actual event happening that Friday, I think, or no, it was either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. I think it was Thursday to Friday to Saturday. Yeah. Pretty sure. So yeah, that Thursday, it was I think the 26th, maybe I'm wrong, 26th of April, comes out. It was amazing. It like blew us all away for the initial reaction. We're like, yo, this is insane. And then the Scotts dropped, Kid Cudi and Travis Scott's new collaboration duo, and they have more music already planned for that. Bro, if they drop this year, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be like, that's why I was so excited for this year, because it's going to probably be like a repeat of 2018 with that Kid See Ghost duo, which was insane. People can say it's overrated. It's also 7 songs, so it's short. It's like 20-something minutes, but it's really good, and they just have this cohesive flow. And I think Travis Scott and Kid Cudi are going to do that same like Rager type beat with that, in the sense that they're going to go all out with the the just the music and having that emotion in their attitude, especially like a stage performance. Like Travis Scott is crazy. I haven't seen Cudi perform on stage or like even online, but I know the guy just has really good music and a good background. For the kid, Man on the Moon 1 and 2 are amazing albums. Man on the Moon is probably one of my top like 5 albums, legit. Like I said, so that was good. Scott's was a really sick song, and it got Cudi it got Cudi his first #1 song on the Billboard. Props to him for that, and Travis Scott for helping him out with that. That was just a sick overall week because so much stuff was happening. And then there was like a week of like them dropping Cactus Jack merchandise, which is kind of stupid, like the Fortnite collaboration, how overpriced it was and all that. But I'm not gonna get into that. It's just things there for people who want to spend their money on it. Like there was like a $75 action figure duo with like Astro Jack and Travis Scott, or T3500 of him. I don't know. It was cool. It looks a couple of things look cool, but a couple of things were just cash grabs. But during coronavirus, you got to make money somehow. So I get where they're coming from. As for the album sales, with the pink and green vinyls and a couple other colors, those were sick. And they just had this really cool like pastel. And the fact that they collaborated with KAWS was really sick for the cover art. I hope maybe they work on something like that for the album cover. I could be wrong about that, but it would be sick if they collaborated with KAWS to make something like really extravagant for an album cover, similar to Takashi Murakami for Kids See Ghost. But yeah, so that was pretty much April. April went by faster. Nothing really too bad. I got by. I think it was way better than March. As for like the pacing, and school started to kick back in. I'm not gonna get too deep into school either, but schoolwork started to get like an order of how they're gonna do things. How my school does it, not to like go crazy into the little logistics of it, is for us we have school given provided iPads, so they're giving us an opportunity for us to like do Zoom meetings. So they had a Zoom meeting, 2 a day, and for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And we have classes A through G for like the letters for each class, and then you get given an assignment, 1 per week. It depends on like it's supposed to take like around an hour or less, but sometimes they take more than that. It's all right. A B Monday, C D Tuesday, E F Wednesday, and then G Thursday. Like yesterday, I just had my last chemistry meeting with my chemistry teacher, who was pregnant. We found out like a few days ago, which was congratulations to her. It's gonna be weird time to give birth, but I'm happy for her. It's sick. Like I said, so the Zoom meetings, 2 a day, then 1 Thursday, 1 assignment, which I know from people talking from my old school that they have to do multiple assignments per week, and it kind of takes hours. And I'm like, yeah, this whole system just does not work. And I know they're trying their best to get by with it, but they really push it a lot when it comes to the amount of work you have to do. It's kind of crazy, especially for other schools. Like I said, doing multiple essays a week, that's awful. I've for schoolwork, I've gotten by just fine with it. I do what I have to do for each class by the Thursday, and I submit everything on Thursday, and then I'm good for I pretty much get a 3-day weekend with that, so I'm happy with it. It's manageable. It really is, and we'll see how they do it next year, because they're talking about having to have like half the size of a normal class, being the amount of students in there with a 6 feet apart desk, and like getting new solo desks, because we just got new tables that can sit like 4 people at a table at a time in certain classes. So it's really concerning about the amount of things that's going to have to change in it, but at the same time, it's going to be the new norm. It's crazy, but that's just the fact of the matter. Like with all the precautions that every single store and restaurant and all those things that are opening up right now, they have to follow these guidelines, like wear a mask. I went into a Cumbies like a couple weekends ago, like 2 weekends ago, and I went to get a slushie in there. I had like $1.50 on me. I go up to the machine. I walk in, and I see this 6 feet apart things on the ground, so you don't walk up next to someone and like cough on them or anything. I walk out back there. I'm like, why is this thing blocked off? And he's like telling us like, yeah, it's closed from like 2. It closes at 2. I think it's like open from like 11 till 2, and then around 2 o'clock I was there at like 5 o'clock, and I was like, damn, they really closed the slushie machine, because it would have to make them clean every single time they use it. So I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, it's like, well, maybe there should be like a new system for how they do slushie machines. I don't know. I know they have a smoothie thing that works kind of well. It's called For Real, F''REAL. Those are sick. I like those a lot, but it won't really matter if you can't use them. I'm like, damn. I just wanted a slushie, but I got 2-piece teas, so that was a good deal, and I got a couple more at Dollar Tree the next weekend. So it's been pretty good. Drinks are nice. So I was saying the new norm. I was around talking about school. Yeah, so schoolwork is fine. I've gotten everything done just fine. And how our schools, I think every school is doing this. You can't your grade can't go down if you don't do the work, I think. I don't think you can. I know it's pass fail, but I know for your number grade, it can only go up for your average that can help your I think your score overall score for like colleges and stuff, your GPA. That's it. Yeah. So honestly, I think how they're handling it right now is manageable, and it's not like over the roof, especially the amount of work. That really varies on your teacher and how strict they are / how much they want to deal with. Not only grading it themselves, but giving it to you have to do it for like over an hour. But I'm not gonna get too deep into schoolwork. I'm just saying it's been all right. It's not like the end of the world. And honestly, I think as much as I hate to admit it, we've gotten less work from being out of school. Not for every teacher. I know some teachers don't give work on a normal basis, and they have to because of this. But overall, less projects, no like tests, no quizzes, and no like I have in my French class, we have an interview thing where at the end of the year she asks you questions in French and you have to remember how to answer in French, like really specific like word terms and gender-based questions, as in like gender-based words for the answer. But yeah, you can't do that this year because we're not doing one-on-ones, and Zoom meetings for that wouldn't really work because it's like you could probably find a way to cheat. Like there's the internet stuff is like way too riggable, I guess, in the sense that you can just find a way to, like a loophole to get out of it doing it like legitimately, and online just doesn't really work with this. But we have to manage with it right now. On the topic of online stuff. For birthdays in March and April, because I just got mine yesterday when this is being recorded, as in Thursday night of this week. Yeah, for birthdays in March and April, excuse me. Yeah, they had birthdays in March and April. If you did have one, you haven't got your permit test yet. I don't know if this is every RMV, but the Massachusetts RMV allows you to go apply on their website. You have to go down to reserve, make or cancel a reservation. You pick the reason why. The number one reason, they have like a 5-hour time slot in the day for a time frame in the day for people who are going there to do this. Is you can apply for. You have to go there to apply for a learner's permit. You bring in all the required paperwork. Then you take a vision test and they take your photo. It goes on your permit when you finish, and they send you back with a link or the link for their website where you log in and put your personal information in. Then you have an account on the RMV website, and then you go in there, hit a couple of things saying, "Are you sure you want to take this?" Yes, and you take the permit test. 25 questions, 25 minutes for all of it online. You have to get 7 or less wrong to pass, and it's simple as that. Another thing with that is people could cheat with that, and it's really a system where it's like, it's not truth. It's a trust system, essentially. Like, we're like, oh, can I trust you to not take more than one piece of candy in Halloween? Most people don't do that just because they're just kind of not greedy, but they see it like, oh, come one, take all, because all the candy's right there. It's an easy opportunity for me to fill my bag way quicker and not have to be out here till midnight. That's just how some people operate, I guess, in their mindsets. But yeah, overall, I got my permit. I was happy about that. I can drive legally with a sponsor in the car now, so I'm pretty pumped about that. That put my weekend already in a step in a good direction right from the bat, even though it was Thursday night. I don't know. I was still happy about that. So yeah, we're in May now. I talked for like 20 minutes just about that. Jeez. May. First night of May, April 30th, Drake and OVO announced an album or a project coming out called Dark Lane Demo Tapes. And we were all on Xbox. We were like hyped about this. We were like, yo, this is going to be sick with the Cardi feature, Playboy Cardi. And then it comes out, and like the worst feature was Playboy Cardi, even though there's only like 3 features, I think. Maybe more. There's Giveon, Playboy Cardi, I think someone else. There's a feature and then a Thuggin' feature. So there's like 4. Yeah, Cardi, just something about this. People were saying he sounded way too much like trying to be Thug in this one. And I'm not going to disagree. It's kind of crazy how much his voice just sounds nothing like 2 years ago when he was putting out like Die Lit, and his album before that 23 years ago, 2017's Playboy Cardi, self-titled. I don't know. I don't hate it, and people can disagree with me completely on this. This is just my opinion because I'm not the biggest Thug fan. Like a couple of years, way back when Havana had Young Thug on it, I don't even think he sounds like him. He doesn't even sound like how he sounds like on his album from last year on that song. And I guess that can be seen as him reinventing his voice and always changing it for an album and just sounding different almost every time. That's sick, but I don't know. Sometimes when he says certain things, it just sounds weird in my opinion. Although I will say, Out West is a really good Young Thug verse in my opinion, and feature. Although I think it's considered Young Thug's song with Travis Scott, similar to Pick Up the Phone when it was on Jeffrey, which is a weird thing to do, especially because someone told me the names of the songs were names of his idols, and then there was just Pick Up the Phone at the end, which is weird. But Yeah, as I was saying, the Darkland demos wasn't even bad. A lot of good songs in it, but it was a lot of leaks and stuff from before, so it wasn't like anything straight up new. Besides maybe at the time Tootsie Slide, which came out a month before, and people are like really iffy about Tootsie Slide. Like it's kind of a joke song in my opinion. Like the dance thing, it was really him trying to get TikTok to ride the wave and make it a big thing, and then I don't think it got to where he wanted it to be. And maybe he wanted that to be on the summer album if it really blew up and it was going crazy on the record charts and Billboard for the next 3 months up until his album coming out this summer, because he announced that as well. Overall, I liked it. I like the song Losses and I think Desire with Future. That one's really good. Yeah, it's an overall solid project, but like I said, it's not what he's really hyping up. He's really hyping this up to give people aware. He's this week and announce, oh yeah, my album is coming 2020 summer. You're gonna go crazy about this. This is gonna be just a good time overall. And people can. I'm gonna just go back to like 2 years ago. People can hate on Scorpion. Maybe it is his worst record of all time or album. I have memories attached to that where I just really like a lot of the songs in it, and I was listening to it a lot during that time because I had Apple Music for the 3 months of that summer, and that definitely played a part in why I love that summer so much. I'm not going to go too much into 2018 and summer and why I always reminisce of that right now. I have that saved for another future podcast episode where I can just talk about that for way longer. I'm kind of just right now at the moment getting into how I've been dealing with this in like a catch-up type of thing right now, even though I tried to do this in that video where I talked about where I've been and how I'm at during quarantine and how the world's in a weird place right now. But this is kind of a platform for me to talk about it in a way more detail. But yeah, like I said, Drake's album pretty good, or project pretty good. Album coming out this summer. I'm excited for that. Couple more albums coming out in the summer, but I'll probably come back to those in a minute. Like Joji's and Run the Jewels came out last week. So yeah, May started really good with that Drake project coming out. We were playing with Russell on Fortnite, and it was really fun. We were just talking about it, and overall, it started the month on a good note. There was the Fortnite Party Royale concert things. There were like live streams of people playing DJing sets. Not bad, but like I guess I was expecting something different. I don't know why. And I think it was the stream quality / the fact that they still have this problem with crash pads and stuff like that. When you emote, you can't hear the people in the actual stream sound. It cuts out that and plays the emote sound, which should not happen. They should fix that. And then people with crash pads always getting in your way by blocking and launching you up in the air, and you can't see the stream because they keep just being a nuisance essentially. But those were kind of cool. As though I think a few weeks into June, or no, May, there was a Remnant, I think it's called Remnant, movie trailer, Christopher Nolan's movie trailer premiered there in the party like a main stage section, and they plan to play one of Christopher Nolan's movies this summer at there. I don't know which one, they haven't said, but on the topic of Fortnite real quick, season 3 for chapter 2 comes out next Wednesday, and in like 3 days from this coming out is the event, the device on Monday. That's gonna be pretty sick. They delayed it a couple times. I get why. Like for first, they're probably having issues with the next season not being ready yet, and they wanted to fix all the bugs happening with it right now. And then the second one was due to the Black Lives Matter movement. They wanted to just show that they're like with this, and we're not gonna promote anything really like out there right now because we have bigger things in the world right now to deal with, like a social issue that's been never really handled it and addressed correctly. And it's really a protest and a peaceful protest in a movement that has been going on for a while, but just hasn't gotten the attention and really light that it needs to be. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but what is happening when it comes to peaceful protests and asking for basic human rights to be given to everyone is definitely justified, and I don't see why this is still an issue going on with the world right now and why people are seen as different when everyone's the same. Like, I know everyone says it's stupid, or like I guess it's I say stupid because it's been said so many times recently. Like, oh, there's only one race, the human race, and it's true though. To put it simply, like yeah, we are all humans on the same earth, so I don't see why people treat others differently. Like not based on actions, just based on appearance and sexuality and race and all that stuff. It's really an awful thing to have as again a trait of the world. Like the world just sees people differently. And it's mainly based off of like how you're raised and how you see people based on as you grow up and older, and that affects like if you were to see people in a different light. But at the same time, you just shouldn't, because we're all on the same planet, we're all the same people, we're all humans, we're all human beings. I guess that could be said for a similar thing when people talk about why they go vegan for animal rights. But what I'm talking about right now is just the human race in general. But yeah, that was kind of like the last week of May, for the riots and going on and the movement and the protests and the whole thing regarding starting pretty much like a really like big thing that started it was George Floyd's death, which was so unlawfully and unjust, and the fact that the officers are getting like freed after their $1 million bail bond has been already posted and people already paid for it. It's the system is broken. Someone posted on their story, I know that a friend of mine, and they put it perfectly. Like they needed to just not start from scratch, but fix the issues with the law system and this justice system essentially, because it's really unjust, and they can just be freed with no actions or no repercussions for their actions essentially. But yeah, that kind of happened at the end of May. Mid-May was pretty good. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. A couple songs dropped again, which I'm trying to think exactly. Which ones? It was mainly singles. 6ix9ine was going crazy with Gooba breaking charts and blowing up, yet having the controversy of them not being registered correctly on certain things, even though some things don't count towards Billboard charts, especially with the Ariana Grande debacle with Justin Bieber's song being sold as bundles. People are like, "Oh, it's common sense. That's how they do it. It's a business. You want to be the top. You have to promote it more, and it's going for a good cause." That also put them at an advantage, like a way above 6ix9ine for that sense. He's doing a similar approach with the song that just dropped today, essentially. When I'm airing this the day before, it will probably go up on the Friday, June 12th. He dropped Trolls with Nicki Minaj. All the proceeds coming from album sales are going directly towards, I think, bail bonds. I can pull it up right now real quick. I listened to the song as soon as Midnight dropped. It was good. I remember 2 years ago around this time when he dropped Fifi with her. That song was also really good, and I think they're a good duo. People can hate him just for him being 6ix9ine. Right here. He says, portion of the proceeds from Trolls will go to bailing out protesters. There you go. The music video is pretty like out there, and he likes to be out there, but I'm not going to get too much into it. All in all, I like the song. Nicki Minaj and 6ix9ine are a good duo, and I'm excited for his album. He's also working with Akon on a remix to one of his old songs. So I'm excited. People can hate him. I guess I don't like him as, like, I don't know, maybe how his beliefs and certain logics are about certain things, but I like his music. Like, I don't judge Michael Jackson off actions that might have happened with him, and that's how I judge people, or the artists that I listen to their music for. They're just artists that make the music, and their past events shouldn't be related to what they do as their business and their job and their lifelong goals pushed into this business that they are in, making music and having fun, and also giving it to the people who can listen to it. That's why I like Michael Jackson's music so much, because he's the king of pop, essentially. We were talking about this with another friend of mine. He agrees that it's Michael Jackson with some amazing songs like Thriller and Billie Jean and Bad. These are things I listen to him because I like his music. I'm not going to judge 6ix9ine off his like logic of like, oh, the snitches and stuff and people are stupid for that. I like his like attitude. He really is loud in the songs. Not blow your eardrums out loud like Travis Scott could be, like if he really bass boosted it and put more autotune under it. But I just like his attitude, and he's out there. He really wants to be a character. He wants the spotlight. Not saying I want that, but I like his reasoning and his not courage, but his motive. He really pushes towards being in the spotlight. He likes that. That's why his rainbow hair is meant to attract your attention, and he likes to dress like a troll essentially. And that's why the song released Trolls is covered in rainbow stuff and all outside of it, because he just likes to troll people, and that's kind of the new thing with him coming out of jail after the whole Corona thing. Him being on house arrest though. Yeah, May was good. I'm trying to think what else came out in May. There was a few more songs. I really should have tracked this better. I'm sure I'll probably talk about them in a future video, if not now, because there's a lot of albums that have come out this year that have been really good. But overall, it's been a good month. Or no, May was a good month. It was a lot of stuff. Oh, here is a really good one. Alfredo, Freddie Gibbs, and The Alchemist. One, it's amazing that they're geniuses for naming the album off of mixing their names together. Al for Alfredo and Freddie for Fredo, the second half of it. I don't know, something about that I really liked, how it just rolled off the tongue, and it was really smart in my opinion. That album was really good, like really good in my opinion. Like, I think that one, people can disagree, but I think it's better than Bandana in the sense that it's not a couple more filler songs, and it's straight to the point. It's 10 tracks. It's really simple, but it's also really good. A couple more quick songs I'll put up as singles if you want to listen to. I'll probably link like a playlist of mine in the description. Windows Still Woozy came out, I think, in April. This one's really good. Summer Feelings and Level of Concern, 21 Pilots. Summer Feelings is Lennon Stella with Charlie Puth from the Scoob movie soundtrack. Those two songs are really good summer songs. One more song, I didn't listen to the whole album for Little Yachty, but TD, goes insane. It samples Tokyo Drift. I think that's why it's called TD. And it has Tyler the Creator, Tierra Whack, and A$AP Rocky. So pretty much Wang Sap and A$AP Rocky. No, Wang Sap with A$AP Rocky and Tyler the Creator, and then Tierra Whack. And Tierra Whack, I think, goes the hardest on the song because she goes like halfway through her verse. Slow down, you're spitting everywhere, and it's insane. I don't know. I just really like how it sounds. So yeah, May was a good month. It was really, I always say May is a turning point. If the year's been really bad, like maybe last year, in my opinion, I'm gonna be honest, wasn't the best year for the first 4 months, like the third, pretty much a third of the year. It got way better when May came around. Because last year, I was, like I said in the video, posted 2 videos ago, or maybe 3. I was around May. I started to watch all of Game of Thrones in that month. I started working out more with lifting weights and just keep myself busy, listening to more music. And then Igor was coming out, so I was excited for that, like halfway through the month. And then Fortnite Season 9 came out. I wasn't a big fan of that, but I'm not going to get too much into that because I already talked about Fortnite a little bit. Now we are in June, and I think there was something else that already happened in June. Oh, I think there might have been a resurgence of the Ebola, not pandemic, but like it was a really big thing a while, maybe like 7-8 years ago, and now it's resurging as like it's cases of it are coming back. And then also, where I'm from, the northeast of the United States, the northeastern region around New England, there is a resurgence of Triple E, which is a thing that happened last summer, I think, and it's a mosquito transferred virus, and there's a 40% death rate of it, so it's pretty concerning when it comes to like not wanting to get that and die from a mosquito, because they're deadly, bro. And the Triple E thing was back when I tried out for soccer last year too. They had to like cancel half the practice because when it's above a certain temperature, I think that increases the amount of mosquitoes that can come outside and like or maybe it affects them wanting to come after your skin because you're so warm from and sweaty from working or doing like activities and outside and stuff. And essentially, it's coming back, but I'm not going to shine too much of a light on the darkness of the world right now. What I am going to say, though, is that be careful if you are from the northeast region of the United States, like New England pretty much, and wear bug spray, lots of it, because mosquitoes, it only takes one, literally. One was on my shirt a couple days ago over eating dinner. My dad luckily smacked it. It wasn't going to bite me, I don't think. It was on my shirt, so he got it. The bug splattered all over my shirt. But at the same time, I guess it's better than me having Triple E and dying. But yeah, so June is here. With it, the first 3 days of it coming out, or June starting, we had Run the Jewels 4 came out early. It was supposed to come out the Friday last week, but it came out early, which I was really happy about. I made that video reacting to it if you want to check that. But it's good. I think I like Run the Jewels 3 a little bit more. Like I might have said this in my video reacting to it. I don't know. I don't hate it. I think it's really good hype music. Just with Pharrell is really good. The one with 2 Chainz is really good. I think it's Out of Sight. And then, yeah, the samples on this album are insane. And what else? There's one more. It's Never Look Back. I like that one a lot. They just have this, like, riot, essentially. The music for a riot with this album. And it's really sick. And I like it a lot. And there's just, they have this not flow, but they bounce off each other so perfectly, and they go so well together, and they're really sick. A few more songs came out the last week of May, real quick, and June. TKN, Rosalie with Travis Scott wasn't bad, but it's more like a meme song in the sense that Travis Scott starts singing like parts of Spanish, and he just sounds kind of weird because he's auto-tuned singing Spanish. He doesn't seem like he would do that normally. Riri Amine, I like this song a lot. That one I really liked more. I think I like that one off the initial reaction to it a little bit more than Shimmy. Shimmy's not bad, but I think I've grown to like Riri off the bat a little bit more better. His album's coming out soon enough. They announced it with merch bundles. It's gonna be. He doesn't announce the date or the release date or the name of it, but it's coming probably. I would hopefully assume this year because he's teased 2 songs within 3 months. 2 actually, because February, then March, April. No, 3. So yeah, between 3 months. So I'd say within 6 months the album will drop. Real quick, what's coming up soon? Joji's album, Nectar. I'm really excited for this one. It's really long track list. Don't know the names, but really long track amount. 18 tracks. More than Hollywood's Bleeding, which I think was 17. If I check real quick, it was those. They're both. I'm gonna assume. Yeah, 1, 2. I think it's around 17 because there was a lot of tracks from like a year and a half before, like Sunflower and Wow. I think actually those are the only ones. So I guess I'm being dramatic by saying that. There's a couple songs that leaked before, like Internet, even though Kanye's not on it. It's also And then the two leading up, I guess, hype up not tracks, singles, Circles and Goodbyes. Both really good songs in my opinion. I think Goodbyes is the standout better one, and it has Thug on it. But I'm not gonna get too much into Hollywood's Bleeding. I was just pointing out how it's got some Joji's album, which granted has been a year and a half since his last one. He dropped 3 singles in the last year and a half, not year and a half, year pretty much. One last year, Sanctuary, almost a year old on the dot, like 2 days from now, it'll be a year old. That one was really good. I remember starting the summer off right with that song. I really like that one. It reminds me of like almost like a sitcom intro to a show like that. And then he dropped Run this February. I love that song, amazing. Give Me Love in April. Give Me Love's good. I love the second half even more than the first. But it almost could be 2 songs, but you're almost happy it doesn't, because it almost conveys like an emotion mood switch up. That's how I would describe it, with the beat switch up, kind of like a mood shift so suddenly. Like you go from having the best day of your life, not best day, but like almost like a really fun, energetic day, like you're enthusiastic, you're really having a good time, like it's not chaotic, but it's a good tempo of the day, I guess, it's going by fast, and then come like maybe within the, like 24 hours of that day, or maybe halfway through that day, it just something terrible just happens and you just start to get hit in the feels, and it's crazy. But really good song, not bad hype up singles. So I'm excited for what the other 15 songs are. Even that makes me excited that 3 singles hyping up the album still has 15 new tracks, because Joji has a really good voice, I'm not gonna lie. Ballads 1 is a really good album, and if you haven't listened to like XNXX, let me see the other ones. I know Slow Dancing in the Dark is amazing. There's one more I'm trying to think of. It's right here. It's called, here it is. I think the one I'm thinking of is Wanted You. That's the one. That one's a really good song. Yeah, Right is also an amazing song. A guy I follow on Instagram, Rap Debates, he was saying how it's like his like 2020 summed up in a song with all the quarantine. And he's just like, I'm gonna fuck up my life. And I don't know, I like that song a lot. Alright, so yeah, I've talked about music and all that stuff. We are now kind of caught up. That's coming out in like 2 weeks. No, a week. Damn, literally a week from this week is Joji's album. That's insane. It's already like almost halfway through June. Oh yeah, one last thing I will leave you on, or maybe like one last major thing I'm going to talk about real quick. I'm pretty sure this will be like not like a leap week next week, but I want to post this podcast at least consistently on the weekends, just talking about stuff for like 45 minutes to an hour around that time, because I just like doing these. I don't know, just it's almost like talking to a mirror, which sounds really like egotistical, but I like the concept of just getting thoughts and things that I like talking about onto a platform, essentially, because I could look back at them in 3 years and be like, damn, I like not what's the term, not keeping track, but like almost think about like a picture book. I like having something to look back on in the like 3 years from now. That's why 2018 I look back on so much and I'm like, damn, I'm glad I saved these Snapchats and these photos, because it kind of just sums up how even this one photo of all of us at one place like Six Flags sums up perfectly how I felt about that summer. It's just like that really good energy. I like being able to look back on these things and keep track of them so I don't forget in the future how much fun I had in that time, in that moment. That's why 2018 is such like a thing for me to look. If something really bad happens in a day, like in quarantine right now, let's just say next week something terrible happens. Hopefully not, because school ends next week, and I'm excited for summer to start pretty much next week, like that Saturday, like a week from now. If something bad did happen, I would try not to indulge myself in all the sadness of it. I'd try to look at the better things. Not avoid it. I know it happened, like acknowledge of it, obviously, but like try to look at a better thing so I don't keep feeling like depressed about something terrible. Let's just say like an animal of mine died, like a pet. I wouldn't want to like just sit here and not sulk, but weep pretty much for it and mourn the death of it. I would try to not let this ruin my whole summer. That's what I mean. I know I'm kind of sounding confusing with this, but yeah. Also, I was going to say, I keep getting distracted about it. Next week, if I don't upload one of these, maybe I'll get some pictures. Maybe I'll talk about it after the aftermath of it. Maybe I will make a video with a couple of them. I'm pretty sure I'll be going to New Hampshire with a few of my cousins and my other relatives, close family. Um, because they paid for the hotel and they wouldn't get a refund. And I know it really bothers me that a couple things up there that we were looking forward to this summer, or they were at least, because I don't know if we were planning on going this summer, like my family group, but. It sucks. It bothers me that those things are opening the weekend after we're going, like maybe like 4 days. But it is what it is. Honestly, I'm just happy. I'll just be happy to get out of the house and see my cousins. I haven't seen them in like those ones probably like 6 months, legit 6 months since I've seen them. And FaceTime does not count, in my opinion. I don't think anything on my phone really counts as human interaction because it's been like 3 months. Uh, March, April. Yep, 3 months since last saw like people in school, my friends, and all that stuff. And honestly, everyone's in the same boat. They miss them. Most people are really trying to push going to like beaches and hanging out with your friends now. I might give it a month, as in like around July, and see how things are going. I know I've given it 3 months, so what's another fourth or a third of a year, pretty much 4 months. But I'm not trying to be like that. I'm just trying to uh, do what they're telling us to do in the sense of safety, but not do nothing the whole year, because that would be a waste, and I don't like wasting things, especially not time, because you only get so much in this world. But yeah, hopefully we go to New Hampshire with them and have a good time. Maybe like make a video with Nick or some like dumb knick-knack things I haven't done in a while. Because I was looking back, I'll also say this real quick. I was looking back yesterday on my summer vlog videos, the four of them that I posted. I think I have like two other actual episodes, or maybe two things merged into one for them. Maybe I'll post it in the future if I finish editing it, or I like how it came out. It looks alright. It's just a couple like ride on POVs, pretty much of rides there. Um, excuse me. I really like how those came out, and I think the number one like thing, like the ribbon on top for me, that why I like those so much is there is these the thumbnails for all four of them, even though the third one isn't that good, is the Cranmore Mountain. I think the first, second, and fourth all have perfectly, like really capture the moment perfectly, auto generated thumbnails. I didn't pick those, and I was like, that's a good sign for a good video. And I had so much fun in the moment editing them, so I was like, you know what, double whammy, and I'm really looking forward to this. I really like how these came out, looking back on them 2 years from now, 2 years ago pretty much. And honestly, I'm not going to try to keep recapturing a moment that's already happened and went and gone and passed, pretty much. But I will say, if anyone hasn't seen those videos, I would definitely recommend checking them out, just because they're really short, like 4 or 5 minutes max. I didn't like make them 40 minutes like this, maybe longer. But the videos just have, I don't know, footage that I feel is raw, and it's also really just like, it captures the feeling of summer, because we were just having fun going to these places, and I really am happy that I filmed them when I did. And overall, I'm just saying that I'm having a good time. And real quick, I'm having an all right 2020. You gotta just disregard the fact that all these terrible things have happened, and look at how your year has gone. Maybe some people aren't having a good year, and I feel bad, and I hope for you the next 6 months of the year go way better, and things start to get like clear skies clearing up, so these rain clouds that are coronavirus and all these terrible things happening in the world are gone soon enough, and then we can return hopefully to what will be the new norm. I hate to say that, but it's just the truth. But like I said, if 2020 didn't have all this mess going on right now, it would be a way better year. That's a given. That's obvious. But at the same time, don't shine on the bad. Don't be like, oh, coronavirus ruined my year. Just be like, coronavirus was a bad thing, but I still did all this stuff in quarantine, and I still managed to get by pretty well, and I'm not mad at myself for wasting the whole 4 months or whatever, however long this goes on from now till the end, hopefully, when we can go back to places, like, full on, not like just 2 places a day, because they limit you. Like I said, all in all, I'm looking forward. Also, a GTA update probably within a month. That's got me excited. I don't know. I really, I'm looking forward to that. I like checking those out when they come out. And honestly, GTA is such a good game. They also just announced, I'll say real quick before I keep doing this, but real quick, they announced yesterday it's coming to PlayStation 5, like a new GTA Online, like standalone, not with the single player, in 2021 for the first 3 months. It'll definitely obviously come into all their consoles and PC. Hopefully PC at least. The new consoles, and I would assume PC, after the fact, maybe like 3 months after that. Another crazy thing for the PlayStation deal with Rockstar, the PlayStation Plus members get $1 million each month of the year and a half until that PlayStation 5 GTA Online comes out. That's like let's just say it's like 13 months away, $13 million. That's crazy, bro. That's a win in their book. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not mad because not to flex. I'm not flexing. I'm because it's an in-game currency thing. It's stupid at the end of the day compared to real life stuff like having real cash. But I do have like 70 mil in the game, and I'm happy with that. That's more than enough for the next update. So I'm prepared on my own time, and I like playing that game and have fun with it. But yeah, I'm excited for the update. There was rumors about it being Cops update. That might not happen. That might not even be true. It could be like Ill-Gotten Gains Part 3. I'm looking forward to whatever it is because I know they make pretty good updates. The only one that's really been questionable and kind of bad in the last like 2 years was Arena War. But even this week it's triple money, so I'm just playing that and getting the upgrades and the AP points to hopefully get some nice rewards and stuff like that. But times are not bad. I'm not doing bad. I'll be honest. That's how I'm probably going to end this podcast, just by saying there is light at the end of the tunnel, and honestly, we just got to keep running towards that, or driving towards that if you're in a car, which I could be in a car pretty soon because I can drive legally now. That's a win. But yeah, it's like 50-minute mark now. I think I'm going to wrap this up real quick, guys. If you did listen to this whole podcast / video on YouTube, I'm probably going to post it on YouTube initially and find a way to put it on YouTube. If you are or Spotify, sorry. If you are listening on Spotify, then that means I set it up correctly, and I'm really happy with myself for that. I'm sure you can hit the little heart button on Spotify if you want to have like an update on whenever these uploads weekend-based podcast comes out. And same with YouTube, you can hit the like button if you enjoy something like this just to have on in the background. Although, like I said, it's kind of better in the sense that I don't want it to only be on YouTube because then I can just have a background noise versus a video always playing for someone. I'm going to definitely figure out how to do it on Spotify because I know some other guy. This guy, I talk Fortnite. I'm not going to get too much into him either right now, but he has finally set up a way for his podcast to be on Spotify. So I'm going to do that real quick soon enough. Like I said, if you did like it on Spotify, hit the little heart button and you'll be knowing whenever I upload the next one. If you liked it on YouTube and you're new here, hit the subscribe button if you do want to listen to more of these things. And real quick, the last thing I want to say, the actual last thing, I was going to start with this, but I forgot. And I just want to say it. Before someone says, they're probably going to say it right off the bat when I have this looping in the actual footage, like the clip playing right now as I'm talking. Before someone says, oh, this like little clip footage is terrible. They can say that if it's really choppy, because I know it is choppy and I'm not a good editor, I guess, compared to like the freaking greats like Steven Spielberg and Quentin Tarantino. But I spent like over an hour on it, and I'm so happy with how it came out. And I'm not going to explain why I named the podcast Grandpa's Fridge, because that has a deeper meaning to me, and I guess I kind of want to keep that on like a family related level for that sense, because it is kind of family related. But the concept of it popped into my head when I was thinking, like, you know, I thought of my cousin's house. I always thought she was my great aunt. I found out last week she's my cousin, technically. My older cousin, Naomi, has 2 fridges, one in the house and one in the garage. But I always think, what are the kind of things you see on a fridge? In the sense of I wanted to have the cover image be like a fridge, pretty much. And it kind of is the closest thing I'm going to get to like a cover fridge. And I thought I could have like lettering of the actual title of the podcast be the fridge magnets. And that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. And I'm so happy with how it came out with me, like having like stop motion type thing with the whole thing assigning onto the fridge. And the whole little right section of the screen that's white, or it's going to have like little images on it, obviously, for the episodes. That's going to be like a section to like kind of sum up some little topics I'll talk about in the actual podcast. So it's really, in my opinion, I really am happy with the concept of it. And in the future, I plan to find more, get in touch with more of my cousins, my younger cousins, and have them say the name of the podcast, like Grandpa's Fridge, and then that will be the intro for like the 3 seconds that it is, and then have the thing like build together onto the fridge, and then boom, that's how we start the podcast. And I think this whole concept, in my opinion, is one of the better things I've had come up with in a while, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. But like I said, people can say it looks terrible. Like I said, I'm not Quentin Tarantino for the editing, but I'm super happy with myself and how it came out, and I think it looks really cool. And if you agree, then I'm glad we're on the same page. But I'll leave you guys to have a good rest of your day. If you do want more of these, let me know if there's something I should talk about. Obviously, you can get in touch with me. I have Twitter at ServelNate. I have Instagram at Nate_Servel_. If you need to know how to type that, I'll probably put it in the description. And then I have I never use Snapchat. If you really want to add me on there, whatever. I guess the best way to do that would maybe to like message me when you add me, if there is a way to do that. Maybe I'll just start adding everyone back on Snapchat. I don't know. It's nate.xdxd. There it is. And then I use Twitch. Sometimes I stream videos. I keep talking about this Red Dead Redemption thing I'm going to do soon enough. I'm working on it right now. Yeah, I play. If you want my Twitch, I'll probably put it in the description as well. It's The Real Hip Hop Zebra, no spaces. The Real, and then Hip Hop Zebra. You know the name because it's on the title of the podcast, hopefully. But I'll leave you guys to it. Like I said, hope you have a good day. Stay safe. Wear the mask when you're outside, social distance, and all that jazz. And soon enough, things will be returning to the normal. And I hope you're all getting by. I hope this maybe helps, even if it helps someone in like a time of like, oh, nothing is really going on right now. It's kind of like a bad time and like boring in that sense. If this is a good thing for you, in your opinion, then that's a win in my book, and I'm really happy to be that sort of like helping thing to keep you busy or listen to in the meantime. But with that, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next podcast. Peace out, Grandpa's Fridge.